Hey guys, if you're looking to fish the western part of the United States, maybe you're from the East Coast, maybe you're from the Midwest, up north or down south, or maybe from another planet, you're going to like this video. I'm going to show you which baits to use, how the techniques work, and what to do along the way with some extra tips. It's a catfish. Yeah. Whoa, it's a big one. It's a catfish. Ooh. And I put in here just what you might think. I got some Band-Aids, antiseptic, some extra lotion for burns or stings, and some chapstick. All right, so you never know when you're gonna need this. I keep it nice and small. So that is definitely coming with me on each and every trip. So that's one that you might wanna pick up right away if you don't already have it. This one is a Plano 3400. All right, to start things off with the lures. Now this is something that you might see at Bass Pro Shops, definitely Walmart, and other stores, maybe Cabela's or other fishing stores. And it's basically an all-in-one kit. I'll tell you why I like these and why they're good for fishermen who are just beginning. And one of the benefits is that you're going to get an assortment of worms and or lures. On this one happens to be worms, and they come all in shapes and sizes. Now these are not going to have any scent to them like the Berkleys do. So that's why that's why it's basic, is that it doesn't have any scent to them. But that's not to say it won't catch fish. This one is a really good one. It's a curly tail in white. You put a little jig head on that. Here's another one. Looks like a bait fish. They're definitely going to work. Now out here in the western states, you're going to know that a lot of the lakes and reservoirs, the water is gin clear. And when it's not gin clear, it's going to have maybe a little bit of moss from the algae events that occur maybe yearly. So depending on the water, it's certainly not going to be muddy. I tell you, from Washington, Idaho, Oregon, California, we're talking Arizona, a little bit of Colorado and New Mexico. These baits in the color pattern of white and smoke gray, these are the ones that you want to use. Now, some of the ones that in my time using them, they don't catch fish, are some of the real bright colors. This one's a bright color I've never caught a fish on. This one is a little bit of both, brown and a little bit of chartreuse. I never caught anything on that. Now this one's an oil can color with a little bit of brown with an extra long tail, as you can see. Doesn't hurt to try it, especially if you're in mossy water. Pumpkin seed, a definite must, okay? But the brighter the color, I would say stay away. Here's some blue with a pink tail. I've fished this several times. I've never caught any fish on it, okay? So it's definitely, you're matching the hatch with some smoke colored baits. All right, so this one is a 300-piece worm tackle box. It's in the Man's, but there are other ones that Walmart and Bass Pro Shops sells. But if you're a enthusiast on fishing, you might want to pick this up. But to start out, let's look at some of the other baits. Okay, here we got some spoons, right? You can catch a variety of fish, from kokanee, from trout, to lots of panfish. Now I'm going to be referring to panfish. That includes crappie, red ear, sunfish, Now all these baits are going to work good on them, but again, if they're super bright, I would fish the natural colors and the silver colors before I would do any of the bright colors, with the exception of the Fire Tiger. Now this one is a standard. This will catch you a lot of fish, especially at the top of the day. I would fish this anytime other lures are not working. But here's a perfect example of a real bright color that I went ahead and bought to complete the set here, but I've never caught a fish on that. And here's one that is a definite must, is the yellow and red. Seems to be working fine, but those are the spoons. The smaller you can go on these, I would say the better. Let me show you a reel that you might want to throw a spoon on. It's going to be these size reels, very small, with maybe no more than a 4-pound test. Right now I got a 2-pound test on them, okay, with a light line and a real flexible rod. That's how you want to throw these spoons. All right, so let's get into some of the bigger baits. Now, as you see, I got all of these Plano boxes labeled so that when you do put them in your tackle box, you can refer to them quickly. And that's just a nice way to keep things organized. So here we have a Gary Yamamoto. And this was more of a collection. Okay, guys, I'll just be honest with you. This was more of a collection. I did fish a variety of these, and it was very slow going. Okay, so they're a little bit of an older bait. You can still find them on eBay and some Walmart stores, but this is maybe a nice to have. Okay, not a stay away. You know, I wouldn't stay away from these, but it's kind of nice to have a collection of Gary Yamamoto's. All right. Here next we have a fat wrap that is Rapala in a fat pattern. This is going back to maybe the again the 1980s, 90s, and early 2000s. Here are some of the fat wraps that work for me, is the Fire Tiger and again the shad color. I have never caught anything on the blue and silver. I've never caught anything on the perch color or the craw, the new craw color. Okay. So I would stick with, if you're going to look into some of these older baits, I would stick with Fire Tiger and maybe the shad. That color right there, you'll catch them all day long. Okay. Some old crankbaits from Rapala. Now these I like keeping them in the box. Again, these are more of an enthusiast collection. I've never caught a fish on anything that was a super bright color, especially these blue and chrome. Again, I would stay away from. Here are some real throwbacks. This one is a parrot pattern. We also have a crawdad pattern. Okay, so this is more of a collector's item, and definitely looking into if you're into fishing, but these I would not throw into any of the lakes or reservoirs unless you really wanted to fish the pattern and see how they work for you. And here we have Bill Lewis rattle traps. Now I've had mixed results on these. They tend to do better in the summertime when you see the fish boiling, especially maybe in the mid-California area, maybe the Arizona is the rattle trap. They make a lot of noise. Now there is some knockoffs of the original Bill Lewis rattle traps. I would stick with Bill Lewis. The hooks seem to be a lot better. And here's I believe this is a Yoziri, kind of a knockoff of a Bill Lewis rattle trap. But again, I would stick with something shiny, bright, and with a black pattern. I would stay away from any of the blues and chromes, or maybe some of these skeeter pops and poppers there. Yeah, I do not recommend those. So what else we got here? We got some X-Wraps, silver. Again, Rapala. Now Rapala used to make their lures with balsa wood. Okay, but now they've switched up to plastic, and these will catch fish. As you can see, I got plenty of the shad color. Let that be a testament to I'm being sold on the shad pattern there. I'm matching the hatch. Now here's a color that you might want to use for muddy water. It's a chartreuse with a black top and a square bill. Okay, this I could see working more in towards the Midwest. I have not caught any fish on these, and I have not caught any fish on the high visibility chartreuse colors there. Then we got some Gary Yamamoto topwater. I tell you, I haven't thrown these a lot, especially in the summertime. Maybe I've tried once or twice. I should probably try again, but these I would stay away from. They're more of a collector's item at this point. Okay. Now we have some of the old-fashioned. These Rapalas go way back. They are floating. They might be, some of them might be a slow sinking pattern, but as you can see, I put trout. They're not an X-Wrap, they're just balsa wood, but these will work good. You can throw these all day long, and if you do see them on eBay or in Walmart, I would suggest picking them up. I'll get a closer look at these. That's what they look like. They have really good action. So as you can see, I dedicated a whole box to trout pattern. And here we got some Sexy and Craw Gary Yamamoto baits. Definitely more of a collector's item. I have not had any luck on these whatsoever. They're still being sold on eBay and elsewhere, but they are no longer in Walmart. But they're kind of a nice to have for a collector's item. Okay. So one of the things I suggest for your weights is dedicating a whole box to your weights. Why? Because you don't want these weights banging around your expensive hooks, your expensive floats, and other tackle that you might have. So I would keep these in a separate dedicated box, maybe an old box that you no longer use that much, but definitely you would not want to mix them around with, say, your Lucky Crafts, okay? You don't want to put any weights in here, okay? So here are some Lucky Craft lures. This pattern I do like. It's kind of chartreuse, has a little bit of chartreuse with some bone, and they topped it off with some two-tone light blue on these. I have caught some stripers on these. Their action is really good. Here are some other ones. If you're looking to put these in a box, much like I did, I have a video on that, show you how I did it, so go check that out. Here are some more Lucky Craft 110s, I believe. No, they're not 110s. Let's take a look on one of these. They are pointer SPs, okay? So here's a variety of colors. The one that I like here is definitely this one here. It actually looks much like a shad. These other ones, they're there to hook the fisherman, right, into buying them, and they're not so much really good for actual fishing. So beware if you're picking up some of these lures. They could be expensive, up to $20. Here are some Rapala scatter cranks, okay? So we have scatter cranks, again, more of a collector's item, but some of the ones I still use that catch a lot of fish are the Fire Tiger, the Bass, and this one that looks like a little crappie. Get a good look at that one. The other ones, they're just kind of nice to have. Let me know if in your comments if you have caught some of the fish, some fish that on the ones that I'm saying you cannot catch fish on, like the blue pattern, or the craw pattern. I have not caught any fish. I would say stay away from them. But if you've had different results, I'd like to know about it. Okay, so here we got some more spoons. This is kind of the world famous Thomas Buoyant. Okay, and I dedicated a whole tackle system to it. The colors that have worked for me are this bright green one in a smaller size, and unfortunately they're all turned around there. You can't really see the patterns. I'll pick some of these out, but they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, especially if you getting them off the internet. Now, some of these I would definitely take to such locations as Seattle. I would take it to the Columbia River and the June Lake area in Central California. Okay. Now we got some more Lucky Craft. Now, I have seen some videos of people catching fish on these clown color. I have not. Here you got a more of a blue tint, and like I've said, I have not caught any fish on anything that is blue. Now, if you do find a lure pattern that seems to work, I would dedicate a box to any shape and size of a lure, hard bait, that is working. So here's one that I've said works really well out here in the western states is Fire Tiger. And they're unmistakable. They're light, bright green with a little bit of orange body. They all have like a black tint to the back of them. Here's a good one. And with a green top. This one has a green top, some have a black top. But these ones you definitely want to put in your tackle box. I would dedicate a whole system to it so that when you do hit that 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. period, especially if you're on the boat trolling, you want to be able to grab your Fire Tigers. You're going to be fishing them all day long. You're going to be catching them all day long. There again. Here we have just a variety of original finish Rapalas, okay? That means they're made in Finland. And they're just a hodgepodge of baits. Here's one that I've never caught a fish on, is anything that's purple, okay? I catch them on this, this pattern here. It's kind of a brook trout. Get you a good look on that. The Fire Tiger again. But number one out of all the baits, if you were to buy any, is going to be this shad color with the black top, silver body. Fish this all day long. Now we're going to be getting up to my secret bait here, if I can find it. But basically it's going to be this little orange and gold. Okay, I've dedicated a box to the orange and gold. I don't see it, but if I find it, I will show you. But another definite must is the orange and gold. And here's one for stripers. And basically it's going to be this trout in a real kind of finesse type of pattern. And this one has a hook on the top and the bottom. This is good, especially when they've just planted trout. You want to throw that, maybe you'll catch a striper or two. Okay. Now let's talk about dough bait. Without a doubt, the number one dough bait for trout is going to be your Berkley. And here I've teamed it up with a nice little pack. I've actually did a review on this. Go check out this video. But it gives you plenty of space for all the different patterns of power bait. And some extra packs here. This these packs here are really deadly right now in California and Arizona and Colorado, is these little tube baits. Okay, you're going to want in any color, especially the high visibility color for trout. And here's some power bait worms. These are good, but the good ones I find are the ones that are put together with a little bit of a head on it, and they call these mice tails in the 3-inch pattern. You want to get a different variety of colors for those. But how I set my jars up is the ones that I use the most on top, and the ones that haven't been catching lately I put on the bottom, just so you know where to go. And on this one I arranged it with the extra scent. Now some of these jars have that extra scent, and you can see what scent they have here on the label, as opposed to this one that does not have any particular type of natural scent. They just say Turbo Dough. So I like to keep these on top. Let me just show you another one. Here is a rainbow again. That is like a salmon egg flavor. Here, this one is a nymph flavor, and you can see a picture of what extra scent is. Now this is my favorite here. It's cheese. If you're from France, they call it fromage. All right. As soon as you see that cheese color, you know that this is going to work really good. And another one is the corn. Okay. Here's the corn. So if I were to pick two of these, it's going to be the cheese and the corn flavor. Okay, I do have one more favorite. Let's see if I can pick this up. And it's going to be the garlic. Okay, if you're going to pick 3 flavors or power baits that you're going to take with you, it's these. Again, it's the corn, the cheese, and the garlic. So here's some more little tube baits. I can't get enough of talking about them. These are the magic trout magic baits. They're really, really small. Again, you're going to want to throw them with some really light line, 2-pound test with these tube baits. Now, when you're fishing out here in the western states, I would go very light on your line. I'm talking 2-pound, 4-pound, and 6-pound. Except if we're talking about catfish, maybe some striper. You can get away with some of the heavy lines, but for the most part, you want to stick with super light line. They can definitely tell the difference. You're going to get more finesse on the light line than you would, say, on an 8-pound test. And of course, you're going to have a little bit what I call a junk drawer, and that's just various hooks. This one I love for a night crawler, and it is a cricket hook. You can get these on Bass Pro Shops. Go pick these up. There's quantity 50. They're going to last you a long time. Some other junk hooks here, and these are baits that I've tried that necessarily I didn't catch a lot of fish on, and these are these plastic jig heads. They made them look like a little fish. What I would team with this up with a little bit of that curly tail white grub that I showed earlier. That would work pretty good, but I've tried maybe 3 or 4 times and I did not catch any fish. I would save your money unless you're an enthusiast. Go ahead and pick that up. I have not caught any fish on frogs. Even when I'm throwing them in the tulies off a boat, I just haven't had any luck like I have seen other baits have. Now, we've talked about lakes and reservoirs, but I don't want to leave out my my friends who might be fishing the shore, the ocean, beach. So here's all I take for the beach, okay? I take some 110 Lucky Crafts in a very natural color, okay? This is kind of a sardine, you could tell by the little dots up and down. One that is just straight bone is going to work really nice. And then I got some, these are, I'm forgetting the name on them. They're mustad hooks, but they're not rooster tails, but something similar. They work very well because why they're weighted pretty heavy. I think I'm about an ounce and a half. You want to pick some of those up, put some squid on it, maybe put some shrimp or some kind of scent. You definitely want to pick them up with some hooks and some swivels and weights. This is pretty much all you're going to need to get some fish fishing alongside the ocean, beach. Since we're on the topic of the beach, let's look at some of the Berkley offerings that are being offered. Here's one that I have not caught fish on, either of these bright colors, okay? Or the large white ones. I have not caught too many fish on these. I've tried all day long. So these I would only buy if you're an enthusiast. You're buying them for somebody who is a collector. Here's what I would get. And that is the sandworm in a camo color, okay? These are deadly. I would fish these all day long. You're going to catch a lot of perch on them. One thing that I would stay away from, both on sea and lakes, reservoirs, is any kind of scent bait. I've bought these religiously and put them on my baits, and I didn't see a big difference between just the lure itself, much like I showed here. You know, they say to put some of this anchovy and you're going to get a lot of hookup. I just haven't. I haven't. And what it does is it tends to stain the lure. Okay. So I wish they work. I know there's even a TV show that's their whole TV show is basically one commercial of the Procure to catch kokanee, but you can catch kokanee with or without the super gel. So to me, it's a gimmick. It's save your money. I would not be buying these. Okay. Lastly, now I don't know if you've seen at Bass Pro Shops, but some of the hooks they sell are a little bit more expensive, sometimes 2, maybe even 3 times more expensive than, say, a regular eagle claw such as this. And if you are going to be buying those surgical laser hooks, I would put them in a unit much like this that is going to save them from not being damaged. You don't want to have them rolling around in your junk drawer like I mentioned here. So you're going to want to keep those nice and tidy. Now here's one that I definitely recommend. I know it's a little old school, but you do not want to go on a fishing trip without some night crawlers. I tend to stay away from the 25 count or the 24 count just because I don't see myself fishing those on a particular weekend that many. If you're going to bait and weight, 12 is more than enough. So I did make a video on how to take care of your night crawlers. Go check that out. Here's another must is some Hog Wild. Now this is an old standard. It goes back to the 70s for catfish. It's never goes bad. It's very good. I would even say buy the system that goes with this. They have a particular setup that you can put the Hog Wild formula into a little tube with the hook, and these are the Zoom flukes. Now they've dedicated a whole aisle to these at Bass Pro Shops, or at least they did the last time I was there. Now these are very good. If you don't have these in your tackle box or tackle bag or tackle backpack, I would say get these now. I believe in them so much that I've dedicated an entire Plano system to it in each of the colors there. So a definite must, and it doesn't matter which color. The action on these are just phenomenal. Okay, they just act like a shad, and even the slightest twitch to these act exactly like a bait fish, even if the fish are lethargic in the middle of the day. Here's a good pattern, kind of looks like a bass. These are going to get you a largemouth bass each and every time. So that's going to do it for this video. Please like and subscribe. Until the next video, so long.